Hello everyone and welcome to this spiral pumpkin tutorial. This is part 2 of a series of tutorials on drawing a geometric pumpkin and then decorating it in different ways. This is being filmed for the UK Colour Pencil Society. The hands you're going to see belong to Emma of Elkie Wilder and the Colour Pencil Shop, but like I say, today I'm here filming for the UK Colour Pencil Society. So in the first video we drew a geometric pumpkin. I'll just remind you what we did. So this was drawn on a geometric grid, and then we added in some line work to help our pumpkin emerge. Once you've got that template, you can really then go wild and decorate it however you like. So in today's tutorial we are going to draw this spiral pumpkin. I'm going to show you how to do this. We do need the geometric grid for this one because we're going to use some of this line work here to guide us, our freehand spirals. So what I'm going to do is redraw the grid again, but what I'm not going to do is narrate that. So if you want to go back and watch the first video again and step by step through how to draw the pumpkin, please do, and I'll show you which point we need to get up to. So today I am using Derwent Light Fast paper. Now this was originally a 7x10 sheet that I've cut down to be 7-inch square, because obviously the pumpkin is a circle, so it's quite nice to work in a square format for this. I'm also going to need my compass and my pencil like I had last time. For this one I'm going to be drawing in the 2H and the H pencils, because for this spiral pumpkin we want the line work to be there but not too visible, because we're going to add a lot of pencil detailing on top. And then I've also got 3 Derwent Artist pencils here. So the colours I've gone for are Van Dyke Brown, Autumn Leaf and Rust. So some nice pumpkin colours with a stalk colour in the middle. You could use any pencil really, but I'd recommend that you use a pencil that has a hardish core so that you can keep a really nice point on it and do all that detailing work. So any of the ones that do hold a strong point, like Faber-Castell Polychromos or Caran d'Ache Pablo, Derwent Pro Colour. Obviously I've got the artists here. So anything that you like working with that holds a nice point for you, that's going to be perfect for all the detailing. So what I'm going to do is redraw my geometric grid. Like I say, if you want a more step-by-step, please see the first video. I'm just going to step through quickly how to do that with no words. You'll just see me doing it on the page, and then we'll get started with all our detailing. So here we have our foundation for our geometric pumpkin. We're now going to start having a play with this pattern work. So I'm going to take you step by step through how to have a go at making your own spiral pumpkin. So we're going to start with our stalk. And I've done a sort of spiral in the centre here and then made my outer line all kind of dysregular to give an idea of this stalk. So I don't tend to draw any pencil lines in first when I do this, but you may prefer to. You may prefer to go in with your 2H graphite pencil or H and just give yourself a guideline to follow. Because I've been drawing spirals a long time, I tend to just go straight in with the pencils, but you know, feel free to give yourself some guidelines if you want. So I've got this outer circle here, which is where I'm going to aim for my spiral to go to. So we're just going to start. I'm just aiming to take it to this outer line, and it will meet the line wherever you like, really. This really is sort of free-form drawing, if you like, freehand drawing. We're really just letting our hand, whatever sort of spirit the drawing wants to take. I really love this about this freehand drawing, is that it kind of has a life of its own, really, and I love that about this. It all depends, you know, what mood I'm in, how precise I am on the day, you know, all sorts of factors, how tired I am, you know. So I just like these drawings to be what they want to be, which might sound a bit funny, really, but that is definitely how my art practice is take shape. So you can see I've got this spiral and I'm just working over it to define it, and this is where a nice sharp point is really key. So I've used a helical pencil sharpener on this. I'm not using a really hard pressure, sort of medium, I suppose. Like if I want the line to be more defined, I will add more pressure, but really you're just feeling your way with this. So now what I'm going to do is do that kind of stalky, wiggly outline. And again, like, I'm just letting whatever comes on the page do what it wants to do. I don't really think very far ahead with this. I'm sort of making decisions in the moment, which is quite nice, really, because you can just be in the moment doing this. Just focusing on what you're doing in that specific second, which I find gives my brain a rest. I might decide to go over and make this darker later on, but for now I think that's probably as far as I'll go. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up. So I've got two orange coloured pencils. They're quite similar, but they're different enough that you can tell they are different colours. So I'm going to start with Autumn Leaf, I think. Now, I haven't drawn in my pumpkin segments here, like what we've done here. I haven't done that beforehand, just because I'm not putting any unnecessary graphite on the paper that I don't need. But if you do feel that you'd be more confident having already drawn in those lines in graphite to give yourself the segments, like we did in the first tutorial, please do so. So I am actually going to turn my page a little bit while I'm doing this, because it just helps with my hands, like getting those nice flowing lines. And really what makes this look aesthetic is the flow of the lines. So I will touch on that a little bit as we go through as well. So we want to make sure that we leave a bit of a gap where we've got this line coming up here, this line coming up here, and then you're curved here. Again, we want to leave a bit of a gap. So I'm just going to put my outline in at the moment. Again, I'm sort of using a medium-ish pressure. And just curving up to the line. You'll get a feel for this, like, you know, I've been drawing geometry and freehand pattern work for a long time, so I can kind of see what would look aesthetic when you join the line, but you'll get used to that the more that you practice. You'll start to be able to see what looks good. So I'm just going to turn my page a minute and just put my curve in like so. Yeah, and I'd encourage you to do the same. Go with how your hand likes to work, because you'll have your own way. And obviously, if you're left-handed, you might be working the opposite direction to me. We're going to work in a clockwise direction because I'm right-handed, and I will turn as we go. If you're left-handed, you're probably going to be wanting to work this way. It's all fine. So, with the geometry still in place, we have some nice curves we can work with. We've got this kind of crossing arc here, and that's really lovely because it can guide how we do our spirals. And we always want our spirals to sort of work with the shape of the pumpkin or the sort of segments we've got going on. So I'm going to just draw my first spiral in. I'm just going to bring this back over a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm aiming for, if you like. Just going to turn that so the top. So I'm just drawing very lightly now. You can see what I'm trying to do is pick up that arc. Like so. See, I'm just working back over the spiral. I don't worry if I've not exactly traced over the spiral. It all adds to the sort of depth. So now we're gonna, I really love flowing lines, so I tend to add a little bit of embellishment. Now you can do whatever you like, whatever feels good to you. I really invite you to have some fun with these pumpkins. You know, get experimental. The real key thing is just to enjoy this. That's what I'd really love for you to get out of this. So we're now going to use kind of this space. So just again using the curves. Now, I made a decision to make every segment slightly different. You could decide to do every segment the same. And this is where your nice sharp points really come into play here to give you those really fine lines where you can push a little bit harder and get a more defined spiral. I'm just going to pop a little one down here. So I really just feel my way with this. It is a practice thing. You know, as I said, I've been doing this style of work for a long time, and you start to get a feel for what looks good. I'm going to add some little dots in down here. I tend to, when I'm adding dots, add them in threes. Could just add 1 or 5 maybe. There we go. So let's just have a look at this. So I'm actually going to take this line up and give myself a big spiral here. Now you noticed I slipped a bit there, but I'm not worried about it. Everything is fixable, which is kind of the beauty with this style. Just want to make it look like you meant it to happen. I'm going to give this a little bit of a... There we go. Just seeing... So we've got these spirals in here. I'm probably going to do some dots down here. I'm going to make these a bit bigger. So I now want to start to fill some of the space up here, and I'm going to bring some spirals in from the top. So I'm actually going to turn this upside down now. So it is really important that you work with your hands here, that you work with how your hands want to work. And you'll notice, like in the first video, I didn't turn the page, and that was quite difficult for me. So I wouldn't be able to get these really beautiful spirals if I wasn't allowing my hand to work how it wants to work. So again, you'll find that with practice, what your hand likes to do. And I'm just using like the curve of the pumpkin segment to sort of guide my decisions. Everything kind of wants to follow the curves, really. That's what makes it look nice and aesthetically pleasing. And it doesn't matter if some spirals you think, oh, I wish I hadn't done that there, that doesn't look right. Once the whole spiral pumpkin's in, you won't notice that at all, and it will just look part of what you were doing. Now you'll see I'm just sort of tracing in the air some lines. I'm just trying to work out where I might like to go next. I've got quite a big space here, so I'm just sort of thinking, do I bring this one up into there? I'm just going to turn it again and just see what I think. So then you'll go sort of get a space through here, which might not look very nice. Or what we could do is bring a spiral in from the centre, which is what I might do on this situation. And I'm deciding to bring it from this way because we've already got this one curling that way, and that one's the same, so we want to go opposite. Like so. I might just bring another one off here just to fill that gap. I get a lot of joy from these really flowing me, that flow state of being. That's what I really enjoy when I do art, is that state. Okay, so I'm thinking we might want some little dots in here just to fill that space. There we go. Just going to add a little one in here. This is all embellishment, really. I'm just making decisions as I go. None of these pieces, they're never identical to each other. And you notice I'm not copying this. I'm just using it as a guide so you can kind of see what I'm aiming for. I'm just going to turn that the right way up again, give a look at that. Just feeling that maybe this space here's needs a little bit of something, so I'm just gonna give that another little spiral there. See, I've just added 5 little dots here. I decided I might like that. There we go. So I'm going to leave that one as is for now and move on to the next one. And we can always come back and add anything if we think it needs anything else. So on to our next segment. I'm going to swap colours now. I'm going to go for the rust colour. As I said, I'm going to work clockwise because I'm right-handed. I'm going to turn the page, so like I say, it's easy for where I would like it to be. So we're just going to pop our outline in again. I've drawn quite a few of these pumpkins by now, so I'm probably a little bit more confident putting my lines in because I've obviously been practicing for these videos. So do take your time if you're feeling a little bit wobbly in the first instance. Okay, so I've decided not to make all my segments the same. So where on this first one we used this arch first, so this arch coming over to the right, I'm going to start with the right hand arch instead. And what I'm going to do, let me just think. Sorry, you'll see that I'm just sort of tracing out my decisions. I do this a lot. It gets your wrist used to the idea that you're about to do a spiral. Which can be quite nice. Like I say, I never worry if I make a little blunder or my line work isn't quite accurate. You can always style it out, which is what's really nice about this. So I've done this first spiral. I want to fill this gap here. So I'm actually just going to go over to the left now and put a spiral in there. And what I'm going to do is just try and bring that round a bit, like so. You're just working with the information you have on the page. You can see it's kind of going a little bit opposite to what we'd got here, which wasn't my intention, but sometimes that is just what happens. I like to think these drawings do have a spirit of their own, and I just let them unfold as we go. I don't really plan anything out. Which I really love about it, but of course there is a little bit of risk with that because it can mean that something unexpected happens. But I have to say that most of my best art pieces have come from when I've made a mistake and I've had to fix it, and have come up with some innovative ways to make things look better. So I never really worry too much because I just think it's all part of the process, and I really love that about it. So you see, I didn't really like how that was going, so I just added a little bit on the edge. Again, once it's part of the whole pumpkin pattern, you won't see any of these little things that maybe you wish you'd done a little bit differently. They will just disappear within the pattern. We're always so self-critical of ourselves. We think everybody else is going to spot the things that we didn't intend, and really they won't. They'll just see the final piece. So don't worry if there's something you think, oh, I wish I hadn't done it like that. It will all just disappear into the overall final effect. So okay, thinking I might just put one in there. Just remember, you can just use one dot, and just one here as well. I think that will look nice. So I think I'm gonna come in from the top now. So I'm just going to turn it upside down again. I'm going to bring this one into here. As you can notice, I'm always sort of tracing down the lines because I'm trying to guide where my spiral's going to go. And it just helps your hand and your wrist to get into the idea that you're going to do a spiral. And I'm going to bring another one off here because just put a little dot in there. You might like to do less spirals or just spirals coming up from the centre and some colour work here. This really is like, this is your pumpkin. So please make it your own. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You can do more colour work. You could change the colours more. You could have different colour spirals in here. Yeah, so it really doesn't matter what you want to do. I just encourage you to really get creative with this. So I'm just trying to make a decision about what I want to do here. I'm going to come down from here again. Do a really big spiral. I really love spirals. Probably tell that I do, but I really love spirals. They absolutely fascinate me, and I love going out into nature and trying to spot spirals. Shells, like snail shells. A lot of plants unfurl as a spiral, like the ferns, and other plants too, like leaves on a lot of plants do unfurl in a spiral, which I just think is just fascinating. Just find it really magical. Just going to put another little one here. And then what I'm going to do is just come and fill this gap here. There we go. So I'm just going to turn it the right way up again. Just want to have a look at what's going on. Might just decide to soften this line a little bit. Okay. What's she going to do? 3 dots there. Like so. And I think that's enough for this one. So what I just want to show you is how I add in what sort of makes it look like a pumpkin. Now I just choose one of the colours and we'll keep this pattern. So I'm actually going to go back to my autumn leaf, which is what I did this this segment with. So I'm going to use the geometry again to do a sort of little concave line there. Just going to turn it upside down again. Now what I'm going to do is just give an impression of the sort of, I don't know if they're veins really, but the segments of the pumpkin. So just going to bring some lines up. Now I'm just sort of feathering here, like so. This is just the first layer. I'm just going to darken this edge. Then I'm just sort of feathering it out, as you can see. Well, you could decide to do something different here. You could pattern it. I just want to put that edge in again here. There we are. So there's the first bit, and obviously when we come around to here, we'll add in the colour with the colour that we've done in this segment. So I'm just alternating colours here, but you could make any decision. You could do it differently. You could do it brown like the centre, whatever you liked really. So I've shown you how to do 2 segments. I'm not going to show you how to do every single one. That gives you an idea of how this is constructed. So you're just making just go with the flow, make decisions as you do each segment. Don't worry too much about planning each segment, that would be my advice, and just go with the flow. And then what I'll do is I'll come back once I've got the full pumpkin decorated and show you what it looks like in the end. Welcome back everyone, and I've been all the way around my pumpkin now and added all my patterning. And what I will do now is just go back in and darken up anywhere that I think needs a bit more punch. You know, the spirals that could do with a bit more rounding, etc. So I'm going to show you on one of the segments how I do that, and then I'll work back around, and then hopefully your pumpkin will be complete. So let me just show you on one of the segments. So I've gone back to my autumn leaf pencil. I'm going to work on this top one here. And sometimes we all know the pigment can sink into the page a little. So I'm just going to go in and just darken everything up a little bit. I have resharpened my pencil, so I'm back with that really lovely point. This bit is quite key to keep a nice sharp point. You'll notice as I was going around earlier that my pencil point was getting a little bit blunt, and I didn't worry too much about that at the time. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of a blunter point while you're just sussing things out. And you know, it gives you more control to be a bit softer with your touch. So once you are confident that your spirals are in, you can then go back in, and you can see that I'm sort of adding little extra flourishes as we go. And some bits, you know, you might want to keep lighter. Like this bit, I might decide to keep a little bit lighter because it gives you a little bit of contrast. So I'm just going to turn my page again so that I can go with the grain or with the curve of the pumpkin and darken up that edge. I do like that some things are lighter and some things are darker, even in the spirals themselves. This gives you a little bit of a different strength of colour, which adds to the overall effect. So I'm just going to darken up the spirals here and this edge a little bit more by applying a bit more colour into here. So let me just show you one of these other segments as well, so you get a feel for what I'm doing. So I'm just going over this bit. This bit is quite easy really, because all your lines work is here now, so you're just going over and over, giving everything a bit of punch. Don't worry if you go a bit wrong. You saw I made a blunder there, so it is all correctable, and it's all just part of the process really. And you see it makes a real difference when you go back in and just give your lines that bit more punch, deciding which ones you want to stand out a bit more. And you can see that it does make a difference. You might decide that you like it just as it is, and that's absolutely fine. So I'm just going to work my way back around, and you can see I've done these two segments. now. So I'm just going to work my way back around and just add in some extra highlights, and we'll just finish up. So be back with you in a minute. So there you have it, one complete spiral pumpkin. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and just really had some fun with creating some spirals. I would really love to see what you got up to with this, so please do show me, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.